Hello, this is Jessica with Honest Echo Books, and today I wanted to do some fun book club questions that we use for book club. And this last month we read the book Bad Monkey by Hiaasen, and these are the questions that we got picked out of my super cute little question glass jar with all my book club questions. These questions can be used for any book that you're reading, and so I figured if you wanted to use any of these questions for a book that you're currently reading, you can. Bad Monkey is a completely fictional book. It is a funny book, and it was chosen because it is humorous and light. It is a murder mystery, I guess, if you will, and but it was recommended because it was just kind of fun and a nice break from all of the darker, heavier things that we had been reading. It is also set in Key West, so we kind of thought that was cool being here in Florida. This book is set in Key West. We have our main character, Yancey. He's a detective, and he gets demoted to restaurant inspector. He is not happy about this, and he's quite disgusted with the restaurants in Key West that are the local places where everybody eats, because apparently they are appalling, and he shuts everything down basically that he goes into, but nobody wants him to shut them down because that's where they eat, but it's disgusting. So while he is the restaurant inspector, he is continuing to work on the side as a detective, trying to find out if this one man in fact was murdered, who murdered him, and everything. But it is just tons and tons of characters. It is a fast-paced, fast read. It's funny, but it's crazy, and there's all sorts of side stories going on with all of these characters. It is called Bad Monkey. There is a monkey in the book, and he is bad. This is Driggs, the character Driggs. Apparently, allegedly, he is the monkey from Pirates of the Caribbean movie, but he is now living on a diet of fried conch fritters and a number of other unhealthy things, and so he's quite a mess. He looks terrible. He's losing his fur. I think he's like overweight, and he is mistaken for a pink-skinned little boy. There's a character, the Dragon Queen, and she wants him. She wants the little boy. She wants the pink boy. So there is just a ton of funny characters, but here are the questions. Question 1. Which character changed the most in the book? Do you find their changes believable or not? So there is a character named Bonnie that we all unanimously decided that she changed the most from the beginning of the book to the end. Were her changes believable? These characters you definitely take with a grain of salt. It's meant to be purely fictional and for entertainment purposes. But believable, sure. We'll leave it at that. So that was question 1. Question 2. After finishing this book, what other books with a similar theme, subject, or writing style would you recommend reading next? Apparently he is a prolific writer, and like I said, he does a lot of, I say that, I don't really know. I think he's set in Florida, or a lot of his books are set in Florida. So if you liked his book and everybody seemed to like it, I would just assume that you would pick up more of his books. Next question. What do you think of the book's cover? How well does it convey what the book is about? If the book had been published with different covers, which one do you like best? So we all liked the cover. It definitely alludes to the fact that the monkey is going to be a big part of the story, and he becomes a big part of the story, but it's later. It's not in the beginning. I like the cover. The colors are bold and grab your attention. You've got the monkey and, you know, the nice contrast with the yellow and red. We found two other covers because this was turned into a mini series. I don't know which network was playing it, but I do know that Vince Vaughn was the main character, Yancey. And then there was also another cover where it was like and I'll see if I can find it and put it on here, but it's like a monkey tail and a boat. And so we all agreed that we kind of liked that cover the best. I'm trying to make sure that I pick the ones that we actually picked. Next question. What do you think of the book's title? How does it relate to the book's contents? What other title might you choose? And so again, Bad Monkey, I think going into it, I definitely thought that the monkey was going to play a huge part from the beginning. So you're always kind of waiting for the monkey to appear or waiting for that to be a thing. And somebody, what did she come up with? It was, Lefty's Revenge. That was a title that somebody came up with that thought that would be a really good, once you read the whole book and everything, Lefty's Revenge, and maybe have it be like the name of the boat. I think that was how we were thinking. So that was that one. Are there any unnecessary parts or underdeveloped characters in the book? What scenes would you add to or remove from the story? Like I said, there are a lot of characters, but I felt like they were all pretty well developed. There were a couple of points where you're like, wait, now who is this again? And I had to go back and some of it, because it is pretty fast paced. So there was one or two sections, but you never felt like you were skim reading because it all played a part. So what scenes would you add or remove from the story? No, I think they were all pretty entertaining. And the characters were all, well developed. Would you recommend this book to a friend? Why or why not? I would recommend this book as a funny, lighthearted, fictional book. Yes, it was fun. If this book were a movie, who would you cast in the roles of the characters? So like I said, this actually did turn into a miniseries, and so Vince Vaughn was the main character, which I can totally picture that. The Dragon Queen, that are very colorful characters that would need a strong personality, strong performance. But there's so many characters, and there's so many different people that, I think once you get the strong ones nailed down, then you could really kind of fill in with whoever, because it's just a fun story. So, okay. Or a fun read, not a fun story, fun read. What songs does this book make you think of? Create a book group playlist together. So I think we took the easy road on this, but because it is set in Key West, Jimmy Buffett, anything beachy, anything out, the metal drums and just that beach bar vibe, because that is definitely what you get from the book. So yeah, we could just go with Jimmy Buffett. Would you read another book by this author? Why or why not? So if I were to pick up one, now that I've read this, I feel like I know what to expect. And I think that if I was in the mood, I would pick up something from him because I know what to expect. And so it was good. It was fun. What other books did this remind you of? So, we, each person picks these questions, and then once they answer it, everybody else can kind of answer if they want to. And this definitely, we all agreed that this really didn't remind us of anything else. It was very, unique in just his writing style and the layering of it, and the setting. I guess, and it's funny living here in Florida. I don't know why I have not read a lot of books set in Florida. But so it was different for me. And I think when you live here and you have been to Key West and areas and, you can relate to it. And so it added that layer to the experience. Okay. And then this question, did you learn anything new from this book? If so, what? And I was the one that got this question, and I said, no, I did not learn anything, but I don't think it was meant to teach you anything. I think it was meant purely for entertainment. And so that is how I took it. So those are our book club questions, and I just thought it would be fun to share. I didn't want to give too much information away, and so I was pretty vague in how we answer them, but they can be applied to any book that you're reading, and so I just thought that it would be fun. And I think I would give Bad Monkey 3 stars, 3.5 stars, and that's not bad. I just, it's, 3.5 stars. It's a fun read. So when we meet for book club, we always obviously bring food and eat first, and I will try to do a recipe that is based from a novel, based on something, but because this book was set in Key West, we definitely went with the Key West theme of seafood. We had ceviche, we had fish spread, we had key lime pie, we had shrimp, broiled shrimp, we had what else did we have? Oh, we had a delicious beet and citrus salad. And so we went totally seafood Key West. Just thought I would share this book with you, and it was fun. So until next time, I will be reading.